A girl steadies her breath, heart pounding as she faces a man with a gentle smile. He seems kind, almost innocent, but her grip tightens around something hidden. Despite her hesitation, she knows what must be done. The story revolves around the girl, an elite assassin known as Violet, a cold and calculated killer who carries out assignments with precision and efficiency. Violet's gender and identity are unknown to the world. The only clue is her name, inspired by a pair of striking violet-colored eyes. But in reality, Violet is a young woman named Sunai Ayame, a 25-year-old assassin whose life revolves around the assignments given by her mysterious boss. In the chaos of her bloodstained profession, Ayame never considered the idea of romance until recently. A shift occurred when one of her colleagues, a fellow assassin, left the organization after getting married. Ayame was stunned. Could assassins get married? At the after-party, her now former colleague, Megumi, explained that she had met her husband through a dating app. Ayame recognized the app. It was popular among young people. Megumi confessed she hadn't expected to fall in love. It was the first time in her life she had met someone she genuinely wanted to spend forever with. Ayame was left speechless. She remembered Megumi as a cold, no-nonsense killer, yet now she radiated happiness. Megumi laughed and nudged Ayame, suggesting she try it too, handing over the app's name with a wink. Ayame hesitated but couldn't refuse Megumi's sincerity. Later that night, as Ayame walked through the city, her mind wandered. She remembered how Megumi had glowed at her wedding. As Ayame passed a young couple holding hands, she thought to herself that love was never meant for people like her. Romance always seemed like a foreign concept, unreachable for someone in her line of work. She wonders if someone like her can really hold hands, walk beside someone, and smile. Her thoughts drift back to a faint memory of a boy wrapped in bandages, smiling at her as they sat on a swing. That fleeting moment tugged at something deep inside. Flustered, she shakes her head and decides that even as an assassin, she wants to experience love at least once. After completing her latest assignment, Ayame downloaded the app. Lying on her bed, she set up her profile with fake details, nothing traceable, and began swiping. But it wasn't easy. Every profile felt wrong, shallow, unreal. Then suddenly, her phone buzzed. A call from her boss interrupted her. Snapping upright, Ayame answered with discipline. The voice on the other end was calm, almost casual. He thanked her for completing the assignment, then quickly shifted to business, asking about her last month's mission. He requested a report on the Marai case. Ayame froze, her spine tingled at the name. Hiroshi Marai, the underboss of the Black Pepper Syndicate, a ruthless, untouchable man with a terrifying reputation. And also her next target. Despite herself, Ayame thought that Marai was handsome. She pushed the thought away and apologized, telling her boss that the progress wasn't going well. She reminded him that, as she had mentioned before, they barely had any intel on Marai, just a name and a photo. Also, he didn't even appear at the syndicate headquarters. She added that this mission wouldn't be as easy as the others. But her boss didn't budge, telling her that, as he had stated before, it was a critical mission for them to get ahead of the rival group, and they were counting on her for that. The call ended. Ayame stared at her screen, a serious expression settling across her face. She reminded herself that now was not the time to mess around with dating apps. She needed to focus. Just as she began to close the app, a new notification appeared. Her profile got a like. Out of curiosity, she checked the profile. By Imura, a 28-year-old, but something about the photo made her pause. A sudden wave of shock hit her. She noticed the earrings and the mole on the arm. She told herself that it was impossible, that it couldn't be real. But the more she looked, the more certain she became. It was him, Marai. The information on the profile was fake, but the man was real. Ayame's breath caught in her throat. It wasn't a coincidence. After weighing the risks, she made her decision. She would meet him. If fate had given her this chance, she would take it. Later, at a small cafe, Marai and Ayame finally met. Marai, calm and composed, ordered a hot coffee. Across the table, Ayame sat sweating, heart racing. He actually showed up, she thought, stunned. She'd expected a trap, a chase, maybe even a cold rejection. But he had agreed, too easily, suspiciously so. Her thoughts were cut short as Marai, visibly flustered, admitted it was his first time meeting someone from a dating app and that he was honestly nervous about it. He smiled warmly and thanked Eika-san, the fake name she used on the app. He said he was glad she came. When the waitress brought his coffee, he thanked her politely, smiling again. AMA sat there stunned. Was this the monster? The cruel, ruthless Yakuza she had read about? Instead, sitting in front of her was a man with kind eyes, a respectful tone, and gentle manners. She didn't know what to believe anymore. Still, AMA clenched her fists under the table, telling herself that he was still a Yakuza. He might have ulterior motives and could be playing mind games. To get closer and gather more information, AMA decided to put a GPS on Marai. Trying to stay focused, AMA's thoughts were interrupted by a sudden need to use the restroom. She seized this opportunity to move closer to him and plant the GPS, hoping to gather more intel. She walked cautiously toward the bathroom, mentally preparing for her next move, but her plan was nearly thwarted when she tripped, letting out a sharp gasp. Just as she regained composure, she found herself in his arms. He quickly caught her, and their faces were uncomfortably close. Her heart raced as she tried to mask her confusion and embarrassment. She was no longer just playing the role of an assassin. She was now tangled up in something more personal. Embarrassed by her reaction, AMA stepped back but successfully planted the GPS on Marai, trying to regain control of herself. The situation had taken an unexpected turn, but she couldn't afford to lose focus. This meeting was supposed to be a professional mission, but the closeness had thrown her off guard. He chuckled softly and warned her to watch her step. Though his tone was casual, she sensed a quiet tension between them. She pushed the feeling aside and refocused on her role as a professional assassin. Before they parted, her phone buzzed with an emergency mission alert. Snapping back to reality, she told him it was nice meeting him, but that she must leave immediately. As she walked away, her mind shifted entirely to the task, though the memory of their brief encounter lingered. She attaches the GPS device despite a brief moment of confusion. Checking the tracker, she sees him heading toward the gang's location. The facts she's gathered clash with the cold image she had of him, but her determination strengthens. She quickly prepares to act, knowing this is her chance to get closer. Time is tight, and she must follow him without hesitation. His arrival at the compound surprises her. Though his Yakuza ties are clear, his calm and composed manner as he greets others feels almost ceremonial, far from the ruthless figure she expected. When he steps onto the gang's property, she takes aim. But the feeling of being watched unnerves her. Their eyes meet through her scope, and panic flares. Has he seen her? She hesitates, heart racing, but forces herself to stay focused. This moment could define everything. He stays ahead, aware that someone tracks him. With a smirk, he reveals he spotted the GPS and implies this was his plan all along, mocking her with a challenge to kill him. Caught off guard, she clenches her fists, steeling herself for what's next. Shaken, she retreats, realizing the mission will be tougher than expected and must be completed quickly. As they meet again, she deduces that he didn't recognize her as the assassin from before. She's as determined to find an opening despite his watchful eyes. He teases her by pointing out a forgotten detail from her profile, making her blush. She tries to keep her composure despite the warmth growing between them. He suggests a necklace would suit her, deepening her unease. When he puts it on, she blushes. His whisper, "You're cute," makes her pull back, asking him to stop. Trying to stay calm, she suggests moving to the next store. In the crowd, she spots a chance to act, but he suddenly grabs her hand. She stammers, trying to appear indifferent. Then he pulls her aside, warning her of a nearby danger. Startled, she feels a confusing mix of gratitude and doubt. Her mind races. Why does she worry about him when he's her target? Later, alone, she questions if her emotions have compromised her mission. Her thoughts break as an enemy approaches with deadly intent. She readies herself, but is grabbed by a protective Irumi-san, who warns her of the threat. His concern confuses her. She's supposed to eliminate him, yet his care unsettles her. He apologizes for his roughness and checks if she's okay. This deepens her internal conflict as she wonders why she cares. The danger isn't over. He remains composed, but her confidence falters. Afterward, he offers her a necklace, catching her off guard. She wonders if he knows more than he lets on. He confesses his feelings, calling her the only one for him. Flustered, she struggles to respond, torn between her mission and growing attachment. He vows to prove his sincerity and hopes to see her again. His vulnerability unnerves her as she battles her rising emotions. She tries to dismiss her feelings as distractions. Later, as Marai gets back in his car, he admits to his partner, the driver, that he's feeling nervous, unsure how to handle their situation. He wonders if he spoke properly. His partner admits that it's rare to see him that tense about something. He then says that if it were him, he wouldn't have been able to date the assassin targeting his life. Also, he would keep thinking not to get accidentally killed. He asks Marai if he isn't worried about his situation. Marai, unfazed, admits that he's not. His partner compliments him, saying he expected that from him since he's strong. He then asks why Marai is pretending not to notice her traps. His partner is caught off guard when Marai tells him it's because he finally reunited with her and wants to proceed carefully. Marai sits focused and tells him that he searched for her for 17 years, and this time he will make sure that she can't escape from him. Sunai Ayame, the 25-year-old assassin known as Violet, reflects on her reluctant decision to sign up for a dating app. It was a colleague's suggestion. She carefully hid her true identity, presenting herself as Eika online. To her shock, Ayame matched with Hiroshi Marai, the underboss of the Black Pepper Gang and her next assassination target. She went on the date expecting it to be merely another step in her mission. But Marai was nothing like she imagined. His warmth unsettled her, and despite all her training and instincts, she found herself falling for him, much to her own frustration. Haunted by her loss of composure during their encounter, Ayame harshly scolds herself. She admits she was a complete mess, unable to stay calm, and fears she has betrayed the assassin's code by letting her emotions get the better of her. Yet she knows this mission is critical. The boss personally assigned her to kill Marai, and she must complete it no matter the cost. Ayame contemplates the best way to continue the operation, approaching Marai strictly as the assassin is too risky. Instead, she decides to maintain her Eika persona for their next meeting, believing this will allow her to better gauge her feelings while staying safe. Checking her phone, Ayame recalls their next date location, the aquarium. The thought puzzles her. She's never been on a real date before, and the idea of going to such a place feels foreign and surreal. All she's ever known is work, and this is uncharted territory both emotionally and professionally. Meanwhile, a stark contrast reveals itself in Marai's world. His heavily tattooed back bears a deep, painful wound, evidence of a recent violent encounter. His companion remarks on how serious the injury looks, but Marai downplays it with casual confidence. The wound came from a stabbing during a territorial dispute over drug sales, but Marai laughs it off, showing the resilience and control that mark his dangerous position. Inside the gang's hideout, Hiroshi Marai checks his phone with a sly smile, prompting curiosity from his companion. When asked about the grin, Marai casually reveals he's chatting with the assassin from the dating app, the girl he recently met, Eika. His friend reacts in shock, confirming the identity and probing further about their relationship, especially after Marai mentioned a reunion earlier. Marai's response is cool and teasing as his friend jokingly wonders if this is Marai's first love. His subtle reactions hint at a deeper, more complicated connection than mere target and assassin, leaving his companion both intrigued and bewildered. The conversation takes a sharp turn when Marai confirms that the girl from the app, who is targeting the gang's boss, is indeed the same person he once loved. His friend is stunned by the revelation, amazed at the unlikely connection between Marai's past and the current dangerous mission. Marai recalls key details, the scar on her neck and her distinctive hair color, from photos he's seen. Despite this recognition, Marai struggles to believe that Ayame the assassin could truly be the woman from his past, highlighting the emotional complexity surrounding their relationship. His companion suggests it's now clear to everyone on the other side that Marai is involved, making secrecy impossible. Marai agrees, deciding it might be time to drop the pretense and confront the truth head-on. He smirks confidently, convinced that pushing Ayame to a point of no return is inevitable. He recognizes her cautious nature and the limited contact she's allowed beyond the app. Still, he hopes his wound will heal by their next date, scheduled the day after tomorrow, giving them a chance to advance their complicated game. The scene transitions to their date. Ayame finds herself genuinely fascinated by the aquarium. Surrounded by colorful fish and the low-lit, lively environment bustling with children and families, she reflects on how foreign this peaceful setting feels. She sees it as an unexpected but comfortable place for conversation and plans to use it to draw out Marai's weaknesses. As they stroll through the aquarium, Ayame seizes the moment to ask Marai about his family home, eager to gather more intel. Marai teases her, joking that his home is somewhere remote that she's probably never heard of. Embarrassed but persistent, Ayame admits she hadn't asked before and worries she may have been too pushy. She internally reminds herself to be cautious not to raise any suspicion, acknowledging her inexperience with prying into personal matters, especially when dealing with someone she's meant to kill. Marai spots something in one of the aquarium tanks and invites Eika to look with him. He points out that a fish is hiding inside, encouraging her to find it. Aika is skeptical but curious, and they both scan the tank. Marai quickly spots the fish and directs her attention to a rock where it's well camouflaged, a devil scorpion fish. Suddenly, Marai surprises Aika by getting close to her, causing her to jump. They share a happy moment after finding the fish together. Nearby, Marai points out a section with jellyfish, describing it as a fun area. Aika tries to calm her excitement while admiring the magical glow of the jellyfish floating gracefully. They talk about the many different kinds of jellyfish, and Aika admits she wasn't interested at first, but is now enjoying the visit more than expected. The pair then moves on to the penguin exhibit. Aika marvels at the variety of creatures beyond just fish, amazed by the unique sights. Marai notes that the aquarium never gets boring, even when taking time to observe everything. Aika finally understands why people come here, to enjoy and have fun. As they stroll through the aquarium, the girl starts feeling a bit cold and instinctively wraps her arms around herself. The boy notices and asks if she's feeling chilly. Surprised by his concern, she quickly denies being cold, insisting it's just a slight chill, and tries to brush it off. Seeing this, he immediately takes off his jacket and offers it to her, apologizing for not noticing sooner. Though caught off guard, she accepts the jacket, blushing deeply as he carefully places it over her shoulders. He gently tells her to let him know if she feels too warm so he can take it back. Suddenly, a familiar scent hits her. The smell reminds her of Marai. Her heart starts pounding rapidly, and she is visibly flustered. Internally, she tries to suppress her reaction, scolding herself for almost forgetting her work and getting distracted. Meanwhile, the boy silently reflects on his true purpose at the aquarium. Gathering information on Marai, she clenches her fists, determined to stay focused. The scene shifts to a flashback from her childhood. She recalls how the organization took her in when she was very young. They became her family, teaching her how to survive in a harsh world. Despite the difficulties and painful moments she endured, the organization was her home, the place that raised her into the person she is today. She remembers the boss telling her that one day she would bear the weight and responsibility of carrying the organization's name, and that he was looking forward to that day. This motivates her to work even harder to repay them for everything. Returning to the present, she continues to explore the aquarium, growing more emotional as she watches the fish and sea creatures. She admits that this is her first time at an aquarium, and she's amazed by the beauty surrounding her. The graceful movements of the fish and the mysterious allure of the jellyfish captivate her. She reflects on how much she's never seen or experienced in the world, and how visiting places like this makes her want to explore more. The boy notices her emotions and gently asks if something is wrong. She hesitates, then admits it's her first time at an aquarium. Though she feels emotional, she tries to hold it back, realizing there's so much about the world she has yet to see. She never knew fish could be this beautiful. He encourages her to explore more places, and she admits she wants to see more of the world. He suggests they discover these places together. With a gentle smile, he promises to take her wherever she wants to go, offering support and companionship. Though she knows it's unreasonable, Ayame can't help but feel happy and decides to let Marai off for today. They stop by a souvenir shop where Marai picks out a keychain and asks if Aika likes it. She accepts, it's just a keychain after all. When he asks her to choose one for him, she hesitates, overthinks, then selects an orca. When he asks why, she simply says it reminds her of him. He thanks her, saying he'll treasure it, while she brushes off the moment. Back at work, a girl praises a boy for finishing early. When he asks about Ayame, she mentions that she went on a date, leaving him surprised. Ayame feels a rising panic as she realizes time is running out. She promised to meet Marai after work today, and she knows she can't afford to delay. Sitting alone in her room, she quickly checks her phone for any traces of blood or anything suspicious, relieved when she finds nothing. With determination, she decides to continue the investigation in the role of Aika for now, committed to seeing the date through despite the risks. As she prepares to leave, someone calls out to her, her older brother, Soichiro Shirogane, a well-known figure in their assassin organization, nicknamed the Blood-Soaked White Wolf. He works in the same group and is both her senior and close confidant. Ayame reflects on their shared past. Since childhood, they faced countless dangers and hardships together, with Soichiro acting as a protector and mentor. To her, he is one of the rare people she can fully trust and be herself around without hesitation. Noticing her nervousness and outfit, Soichiro offers to check her appearance. She is surprised and grateful that he didn't realize she had changed earlier. When she quickly heads out, he casually asks where she's going. She explains that she plans to visit a new dining bar near the station, but insists she doesn't have time to stay long. Arriving at the station, Ayame's anxiety spikes again as she discovers her phone is missing from her bag. Panic washes over her as she tries to recall the last time she had it. It was back at the office. While she's distracted by her sudden loss, a stranger approaches, suddenly cheerful and inviting. He offers to buy her a meal, surprising her with his forwardness. She instinctively wonders why he's so eager to engage with her. As the stranger begins harassing Ayame, Marai suddenly appears beside them, wearing a friendly but slightly unsettling smile. He asks if the person with Ayame is someone she knows. Surprised and confused, Ayame honestly replies that she has no idea who he is. Muray's presence clearly unsettles the stranger, but he maintains a calm and polite demeanor, trying to defuse the situation. Without warning, Murai reaches out and firmly grabs the stranger's hand. His tone shifts, becoming serious and intense as he asks if he can help him with something. The sudden intimidation causes the stranger to visibly tremble, clearly uncomfortable and wary. Terrified and embarrassed, the stranger quickly apologizes and pulls away from the situation. Murai steps back, but the tension in the air remains thick. He then gently guides Ayame away from the man, reassuring her and showing his protective side. Once they are away from the stranger, Murai advises Ayame to be careful, warning her about the dangerous steps ahead. She quietly agrees, still shaken but grateful for his presence and support. Murai's mature demeanor comforts her, and she thanks him quietly. They continue walking toward their destination, and Ayame reflects on how mature and dependable Murai is, one of the few people she truly trusts and can let her guard down around. Just as they arrive at the restaurant, someone suddenly calls out to her to wait. Ayame turns, startled by his sudden urgency. She is surprised to see that Shirogane has been looking for her. He questions what she's doing here since she previously said she was going to the new shop near the station. The tension rises instantly with his appearance. Before she can explain herself, Shirogane steps forward and quietly hands Ayame her forgotten phone. Murai asks her if she knows who he is. Surprised by the sudden question, she quickly introduces Shirogane as her childhood friend, hoping to calm the situation and avoid suspicion. Murai greets her brother with a polite smile, but Ayame feels uneasy, worried that her brother shouldn't know about Murai. She recalls that their organization operates with strict secrecy. Once someone becomes a full member, their focus narrows exclusively to their assigned targets to prevent information leaks. Ayame observes the tense and cautious exchange of glances between her brother and Murai. She wants to explain the situation more clearly but hesitates, hoping her brother will trust her judgment and cooperate. Murai then suggests they all go inside together. At the table, the conversation warms as Murai asks about their history. Ayame confirms that they met when she was just 9 years old. Ayame leans in to whisper to her brother, expressing her desire to have a private moment with him, while also offering to order something extra for him. But her brother mistakes her whisper about ordering extra as referring to a lemon sour drink. Flustered, she worries that the situation is becoming more complicated than she anticipated. Shirogane then shifts the conversation, asking what kind of gathering this actually is. Murai calmly admits that it's a date. Ayame nervously confirms this with a small smile, making the moment feel more serious yet relaxed. Ayame explains that she and Murai met through a dating app. Shirogane asks what a dating app is, which Murai proceeds to explain in detail, adding that it's common to meet in person afterward to see if there's a real connection, just like they are doing today. Ayame, blushing, adds that Megumi recommended the app to her at a wedding. Then Shirogane casually asks about the exact nature of Ayame and Murai's relationship. Ayame stammers, calling it a relationship, but Murai interrupts with a teasing smile, saying they're not dating or anything serious. Murai gently calls her by name, shifting the tone to a more playful one and asking Ayame to confirm. She blushes and tries to clarify, as it is technically true. At that moment, a waiter arrives carrying a dish of Neapolitan pasta, a classic Japanese-style pasta inspired by Western cuisine. Murai offers to serve Ayame some, and she gratefully accepts, adding a touch of warmth to their gathering. As the meal progresses, Shirogane asks if Ayame can now eat bell peppers, which he remembers she used to dislike intensely. She insists that she can eat them now, at least to some extent. Shirogane teasingly recalls how much she used to hate bell peppers. Mirai then offers to eat them for her as she still doesn't like them. Shirogane also brings over a plate of salmon and asks if Ayame likes it. She confirms that she does, pleasantly surprising Mirai. Mirai kindly tells Ayame she can have some of his food too, and Shirogane responds that he was already planning to share, inviting her to go ahead and enjoy it. Ayame anxiously tries to keep up as they sit down to eat, feeling overwhelmed by the constant questioning and the pressure to explain herself. Ayame's thoughts grow heavy as she realizes she's been dragged along without a chance to ask questions herself. She casually asks if Marai has a childhood friend, trying to steer the conversation naturally. She nervously mentions if he used to be close to someone as a kid, trying to find a weakness. Before Marai could answer, Shirogane notices a bruise on Ayame's arm and grabs it gently, concerned. He offers to help clean it when they get back to the office. Shocked by the sudden revelation, Mirai questions what he means by back, trying not to raise any suspicion. Ayame quickly explains they live nearby, and Mirai only helps her out sometimes. Mirai insists that if the stain doesn't come out, he'll buy her new clothes, which makes Ayame flustered. Meanwhile, Shirogane remains confident the stain will come out. Just then, Shirogane excuses himself, citing an urgent matter, and heads out, reminding Ayame not to forget about the stain. Ayame watches him leave, confused, while Mirai remains quiet, sensing something unspoken. As Mirai and Ayame are alone, she looks at Mirai, who is sitting there silent with his head down as if he is defeated. Mirai ponders that he has never seen her like this. It's the first time he's seen this side of her.